DreamHack Open is brought to you by Intel, Corsair, Monster Energy, and DreamHack.
A grand final in the making, something we expected from the get-go, with these two teams looking to basically face off as a CIS battle, two on the rise, one with, well, actually both teams, I guess, with a championship under their belt. Blair, are we about to peak too early is the question.
That would be a disservice to Saw. I want to see how they're going to fare in the grand finals, right? I'm never going to ever doubt them evermore. But however, this is the game we're all waiting for. Unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing it as a grand finals. Fortunately, we got to see it earlier, so it's a win-win, kind of win-loss, something. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we can take a look how we got here. The surprise factor so far. This will be the playoffs bracket, of course, which shows that Saw is going to be patiently waiting in the grand final. And Maui, as said, like, we expected Saw to have to face off against one of these two teams a little bit earlier. The fact that one of them will almost help Saw out by eliminating the other, I guess, gives the Portuguese side a slightly easier ride.
Yeah, definitely. This is a little bit of sweat that Saw just don't have to face. They don't have to encounter one of these teams. I think they would have had a very tough time to get to the grand finals, but still props to Saw for making it to the grand finals. Yeah. I feel like this is kind of the grand finals on paper, though. Going into this, these were the two highest ranked teams coming into this tournament, and I think that this should go the distance. I think this is a really exciting matchup. These teams have been pretty back and forth with their results, and both of them have just won championships in the last month. So this is actually really good. This should probably lead to the best series we get thus far, and I just hope that it goes all the way.
Well, Blair, one of the things that I think excites me about this match the most is the fact that both teams actually have a very, very deep map pool. So going into the veto, it actually makes things very, very interesting as to where these two teams could actually take this.
Yeah, this one is so hard to predict that I went back to the previous time they played each other. It was, I think, a month back to see if we could see some pattern. I don't think it's going to be the case. It depends on who's going to ban Nuke first, right? It's going to be a game of chicken. I want to see these two teams probably floated and see who bans it, but it's going to be VP who's going to be blinking first. Why not? You're kind of the favorites here. That's the one map you don't play. Don't give it a shot. Inferno getting banned from Gambit is something, I don't know. Nuke Inferno picks. Vertigo was what Gambit picked the last time they played. They might go for it again. That's it. And VP picked Vertigo against XZ, where they look fantastic. Although the caveat being was against XZ. And then it's going to be, of course, Train Mirage. I won't lie. This could have gone anyway. It could be Dust 2 coming up earlier. It could be an Overpass pick coming in as well. So Train, Vertigo, and Mirage, we finally get to see Vertigo after quite a while. Train from VP. I have to agree with the both of you. This could go all the way to map number 3, and it's going to be a banger. Both the teams are really, really good on all 3 maps.
Well, that's the exciting thing as well. And we're going to, of course, start things off on Train, Maui. Obviously, in terms of both of these maps, interestingly, both playing it 13 times. Is either team really favored across the entire series?
I can't really say so. I mean, I think the percentage win rate for Gambit is a little bit better, but I would say that the level of competition they've been playing against is worse than that of VP. Gambit have taken a few big scalps lately, though. They have defeated Complexity just a couple weeks ago. Yeah. But on the side of VP, they've beaten Mad Lions, Fnatic, OG, although they recently lost to 4. So this might not be as clear cut in terms of the skill disparity or anything such as that.
Well, we can at least give you guys the chance to give your opinion on the matter. Hashtag Gambit, hashtag VP to decide who you think is going to be taking this one home, of course. I think this is probably going to be one of the closer and one of the toughest ones to actually call, because as I said, we were looking at this as a best-of-5 final, expecting one of these teams to take it home. And luckily enough, we can now hear for one of the teams, Nafani, the in-game leader, going to take us through Gambit's side of things.
2 years ago, I can't imagine like I can play on DreamHack at all. Now I can win it.
Axel almost to this team. I think he's just still consistently solid for this team, and Hobbit trying to hold on now. Multi-kills would be perfect for him, and he's closing it out, looking so solid. 3 from Hobbit. Finally, he will go down.
Like maybe a year ago, it was a dream to win at least one DreamHack, but now we can win 2, so it will be really great.
A good kill from Jo, and now it's just Inter suddenly left alone in a 1 versus 2. Both players low on HP. Jo taken down, but they know exactly where he is now. MDS running over the top, and Inter's with the perfect repositioning.
Virtus.pro, it's of course strong team, so it will be hard game for us. We have like 5 strong players, so that's why we're winning. Thank you for our fans. It's really nice to see your support. Thank you very much, and we appreciate it.
Well, as he normally says, good luck. It is, of course, Gambit. They have brought themselves through recently. The change of Hobbit was one that I wasn't too sure about, Blair, but it has gone from strength to strength.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to have a major winner in your roster, right? It's the intangibles that I felt like was a catalyst for this team. And there you have it. Gambit, they are looking good. The last loss was, of course, Astralis. I think that's fair. You know, losing Astralis is nothing to be ashamed about that. They've looked fantastic so far. A couple of close matchups, I think, against Movie Stars, Overpass was a bit of a problem for them. But apart from that, I gotta say, the youngsters, they're men now.
And I think the exciting thing, Maui, is the fact that we are seeing some of these players perform more and more consistently. Even some, for example, like Inters or Hobbit himself, putting up some incredible numbers for the team. Like, they don't really seem to have too much of a weak link.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like this team, when you look at it, may strike some as top heavy, but there is skill down the entire roster. All 5 players in any given situation seems like they can pop off, but we do have to focus on that top trio, Shiro, Axel, and Hobbit. But all 3 of them heavy hitters at this tournament. They're all pretty much neck and neck in terms of tournament rating. So we'll see if Inters and Nafani have to really get involved here, but I feel like it's going to go the full distance, that every player is going to have their moments if either team is going to come out on top today.
Well, the interesting thing for me, Blair, was when we spoke to Hobbit like previously over the last couple of months, he mentioned that he thinks individually the best player on the team is actually Inters.
Yeah, he mentioned that, right? And we did see some moments from Inters where he did pop off. The thing is, like we mentioned on that desk as well last week, a couple of weeks back, that he's someone who's willing to take all the shit roles, so to speak, for the team and try and still kind of set up the stars in Shiro, in Axel, and in Hobbit as well, who is still because really showing up off late. So it's great. This team just seems to work. I don't see any weak link. They've looked fantastic so far. It's just the fact that their meteoric rise of late. I'm not necessarily someone who believes in sudden, you know, huge performances coming out from the team. And I've always felt like, okay, they're gonna, at one point they're gonna fall off, or at one point they're gonna stumble a little bit. They haven't yet, which is so surprising for me.
Well, speaking of stumbles, VP have had a bit of an upset throughout this tournament so far, losing to Fours earlier. And now we're gonna hear from Kicker to maybe talk about the bumpy road.
This round and VP can get it done. He spots him.
Father completely showed us like that we have something to fix on the Mirage. It wasn't easy for us, like we won against second overtimes against them, and I think we just have to fix something after the break. But we're feeling cool, we're happy that we closed it out and we're out of groups. I think, in my opinion, it's gonna be a good map-up, it's gonna be a good match. I think this matchup will be really good for us, because it's a CIS derby. Game against Gambit will be very interesting, and we're prepared for them, and I think we're gonna surprise them. Viewers, you'll have interesting game, so cheer for us and good luck.
It is going to be a Gumacha for sure, and I cannot wait for this to get started. Maui, this has been a team that you have watched closely recently, of course, at Flashpoint, becoming the champions. Do you think that in this matchup, after a slightly rockier road, they're going to have what it takes to go through Gambit?
I think the biggest question for me for Virtus.pro is just what is their form that they're bringing into this tournament, because at Flashpoint they were nearly flawless. I think that they maybe could have worked on what their map picks were, because they were pretty consistently losing their own map picks, but then they were winning their opponents and winning deciders convincingly a lot of the time. So it seems like at DreamHack Open they've stumbled just a bit, but if they can reach the form that I saw them in Flashpoint, I feel like they should take this win convincingly. That being said, Kicker did just say that maybe after the break they can iron some things out. That did concern me a little bit.
Yeah, it is a bit of a worry, Blair, that they're looking to fix things after the tournament is finished. But at the same time, I guess the recipe before now has been almost perfect, even if some of it, including Yakinda, might be a little bit more wild than we expect.
Yeah, for sure. I would expect them to kind of have fixed it. Look, that's the thing. That's what's mind-boggling for me, right? Like Maui mentioned, like he was covering them as well. I saw a few games. Unfortunately, there were some conflicting games, which is why I couldn't catch too much of VP. They beat a lot of very, very, very good teams. You can't drop off so substantially in the tournament immediately the next week. It doesn't make sense to me. However, it's playoffs time. And we know VP, when they're going to get tough, they can really step it up. So I don't think they really need to fix anything too crazy. Just win your map picks. Just work on. Just make sure whatever you're doing in Flashpoint, just do like 70% of that. That should suffice.
Yeah, I think that is the case. I guess in terms of their peaks, it's definitely been higher than what we've seen from Gambit so far. But looking sort of comparatively, like they've made a lot of moves recently that have been quite interesting, like bringing back Buster. And he's someone I really want to highlight, Maui, he looks like a completely different player from when he left for his break and when he came back. Like, he's been ridiculous.
Yeah, so before he departed, he kind of had Yakinder's roles, and then in the time that he was gone, Yakinder kind of took a lot of Buster's spots, and now it seems like Buster has to play some of Adren's roles, and I feel like it's actually working out very well. I think that Buster has unlocked a new side of his game. I think he's now, instead of that hard first contact entry all the time, he's kind of the second in, and he's just doing a great job. His aim's always been really good. His game sense has always been really good, but it's never really shined or shown because he's usually the first one in, so he's going to be the first one dead a lot of the time. But now, in these kind of mid-round situations, I feel like he has a really good feel for what is going on, and he breaks situations down in a very strong way, along with players like Kicker and Jane.
Well, I've been a little bit unfair with predictions throughout. I know I've been asking Blair to give his first all the way through, so I'm hoping production are ready for this, because Maui, I kind of have a feeling where you're going with your predictions, so I'll let you start.
Yeah, I've got to side with VP. It looks like they are not the bookmaker's favorite today, but in all honesty, if they reach the heights that I saw at Flashpoint, I just don't see a world in which they lose this, but it should be close.
Blair,
yeah,
same sentiment?
I want to at one point give it to Gambit, right? Like, even the previous event, we were like, Spirit should be the favorites, but Gambit, they destroyed them, smashed them on 3 maps in the best of 5. I want to give it to them, but I have to agree with Maui. Like, the highs VP has hit in the past 1 month, Gambit haven't reached that year. They're a fantastic team, but I have to give it to, well, VP.
It looks like I'm on my own all the way through today. I'm going to be giving it to Gambit. I've been so impressed watching this roster over the last few months. I think they've been truly fantastic, and I think this is one where it really can go either way. I think if VP hit their heights, it's going to be very difficult to beat them, but at the same time, I think Gambit are just such a good roster. They've risen so much over the last year. I really can't wait to see where Twitch chat has gone. Will they be joining me once again, or has the polar bear of Virtus.pro swayed them? It says 50-50, and sometimes it changes at the last second, but I would almost be inclined to agree with it at this point, because this match really could go either way. And the fact is, guys, this leads to a grand final. So are there waiting? It's not something we necessarily expected, but we do have to get this one underway now. There are 2 very talented individuals ready and waiting to cast this one. You've got Potter, again, like making the casting look a little bit easier, although we'll hope that she's awake for this one. And of course, Vince, he's been here many times before. So it is going to be Gambit facing off against Virtus.pro. Join us after the break to see who's making that grand final.
A potential grand finals comes a step sooner than many would have expected, but it should be a fantastic game. Gambit and VP about to do a battle in our best of 3 semis. And Potter, I cannot wait to get into this. This has been the game I've been looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And even when you look at both of these teams, when they were going through the predictions, I was like, I thought Tom was going to call my name. I'm so used to being on that desk. I was getting ready to make my prediction and I was stuck, Vince. I couldn't decide. Both of these teams are looking hot. Maui mentioned it. Both squads making huge championship wins, making moves. And VP, they fell flat in this tournament so far. And it just seems like Gambit are looking hot to trot right now. So I'm not sure which VP to expect, but if they show up as they did in Flashpoint 2, then this should be a banger of a series.
I'm actually gonna go out there. I'm gonna say I think Gambit might win this. I've been seeing them a lot recently. I think the fact that you look at their previous games, they've got a lot of victories. Their only loss in recent memory has been against Astralis. They took down DreamHack Open November against Spirit, who were the favorites to take that tournament. I think Gambit are in a position right now where they are hitting some really slick form. Whereas VP have looked a little bit more mortal. Sure, the Flashpoint went well for them, but since then, they slipped out against Fours, who didn't even make the grand finals on the other side of the bracket when they were expected to from a lot of people. And I think that does maybe give you a couple of ideas as to what's going on. Even that game against the Sparta didn't exactly look to me that VP were firing on all cylinders. And I think they're going to have to bring their A game. Otherwise, a very solid Gambit with a lot of ability. Some players that I honestly believe will be top 5 players in the world in the future in the form of Axel and Shiro. They will punish them. So this has the makings of a truly great game. I kind of wish we did have it in the grand finals because it would have been a best of 5, which would have been amazing. But hey, I'm not going to argue that we get to do it a day early.
Definitely so. And I'm on your side, Vince. You already called the match earlier for Saul. And, I'm not feeling too confident in VP, especially as you mentioned that match versus Espada yesterday. Things came down to the wire. And, the desk kind of touched on it as well. VP right now, especially with just the emotions that this squad kind of went through, winning the most money this org has ever won. All 5 of these players just on a high, I'm sure. And when that adrenaline comes down crashing, I'm not really too sure actually how you come back from that. So I'll be anxiously waiting to see what form VP show up in today. But as you say, Gambit, man, they are looking so good and they're so young and so promising. And this squad, they look hungry, Vince. So I'm definitely on your side. I'm rooting for Gambit here. I'm excited to see some good Counter-Strike.
Indeed, we will be hopping into map 1. It is Train, followed by Vertigo, followed by Mirage. Another reason why this is a mouth-watering prospect as well is these teams kind of share the same map pools as well, Potter. So you have to assume that when they come through on these maps, they're going to be proficient on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. Yakindar, such a beast on this train. There's a smoke Molotov. It does look like this is going to be a B play. That Molotov will come in hugely towards the end there. Shiro's got a good line of sight. That flashbang should catch him, though. This looks pretty straightforward here, Vince.
They're already flashing and Molotoving them out of position. And Shiro with the rest of the troops angling their way at the back of the site. Postplant comes in with all 10 players still alive. All 10 players full in terms of HP. Although 2 of them don't have any Kevlar on VP, they have the Glocks up close, which really will put some hurt and some pain down onto Gambit. They are very slow on the approach. They need to start picking up pace. They have a kit, but only one of them, and the flash is completely mitigated by the fact that they've just lost 2 players now, VP. Kickert goes in for 1, Axile and Inters both just ripping through heads, and there's Shiro. Talk about Gambit getting it cleanly done. I feared the worst for them, Potter. I thought they took too much time.
You and me both, Vince. But man, time was a ticking, but it was coordinated. You saw it. They were patient. They were waiting to all group up together, make sure they swing all angles together. And the trades, they win in Gambit's favors. And of course, it also helps that those shots were so clean, so crisp. And they make that retake work. Beautiful stuff. And oh man, VP, we've seen them before, kind of having some miscoms and slowly buying. They finally do get to purchase out a full investment into this round. That scout is on James' back, and he is a freaking monster with that sniper rifle. So I'm expecting him to squish up these Gambit members. And the jig is up now. Gambit are fully aware that this full buy has been made. And it looks like they're just going right back at it, Vince. Another inner execute.
Rinse and repeat, looking to try and at least get the job done where they struggled and failed last time around. Here come the nades. There is an organ play, and the spray from Shiro is up to scratch. Hobbit, in the meanwhile, a man that has been hitting a resurgence in form as of late. Big grenade damage onto Buster, who still comes out with the deagle and makes it work against Shiro. That's a significant pick. Unfortunately, though, for VP, they've lost their bomb carrier, and now Jane out in the open does land a shot, but him and his teammate of Buster have been put 6 foot under, and that force buy has come to an abrupt end.
Hobbit is playing so well right now, especially just the way he's reacting off his teammate there. I love the fact that he just gets a quick kill and he's out of there. Not sticking around, not leaving anything to chance, and just taking his advantages and regrouping with his team. Good protocols here coming out from Gambit. A strong start. VP, it's a full save here. Well, there is a deagle and a P250, and Kickert makes work of it. He is going to get traded out, but that's a good start. Maybe even be able to recover that deagle. Oh, James, he takes damage for it. Regretting everything. What a spray down from Hobbit. Doesn't even take a lick of damage. Full control.
I don't want to oversell this, Potter, and I realize that this may seem like a really big exaggeration, but I genuinely feel that Hobbit is reaching that same kind of form that we saw when he did pick up the major. He went off the kind of rails for a long time. Maybe it was to do with teammates, maybe it was to do with just not being in positions he wanted to play in. But I tell you what, he's a guy that recently, in the last few tournaments I've casted him in, he really has catapulted himself right back to the forefront. He's been so very good, and could be a huge part of the reason why Gambit make a move to the grand finals.
Just a full circle. That's a scary but exciting thought, all at the same time. Hobbit back wearing the same Gambit colors. And just looking super good while doing it. AWP is back into James' hands, and Yukindar, he's out. T-Con quick onto the sandwich. This is where Yukindar shines. Oh, and he just gets caught out. Axel, so aggressive, confident. Takes out Yukindar, just the jumping Og through the smoke. And they've regained control now. Everything has to slow down for VP. Or, it looks like they're doing an inner pop once again.
At first you don't succeed, try again, I suppose, is the mentality that VP have. They have managed to wiggle their way into the site, but they've not dealt with a lot of these corners, and Hobbit is going to punish them. His 7th kill, add an 8th into the mix as well, and he's still alive, still able to put some bullets into heads. Buster's life deemed forfeit by Nafani and his Galil. And now just the orb remains on Jane, but he's been forced away 1 versus 5. And Gambit will know that he was last spotted in box halls. There will be no survivors. And the fact that 3 of VP have yet to get off the mark on 0 kills, and collectively they only have 3 frags, and we're moving into the 5th round, this is a dire start.
Yeah, dang. This is a weird pace that I'm seeing from VP as well. I expected a slowing it down, letting James, he likes to really take his time, find the optimal angles with that sniper. But so far, VP have just kind of been running towards that inner, throwing that set piece, but there's been a misstep. The flashes haven't been working. Shiro, we've seen him time and time again, either with that AUG or with this AWP, just have clear line of sight. He hasn't been flashed off that angle. So either the timing is off for VP right now or something. But either way, I gotta say, I don't expect them to go back at it again a 4th time here, Vince. I think we'll see a little bit something different.
Yeah, I'm all for being motivated and having self-belief, but at some point you have to realize it's just not working. And you have to change things up. Otherwise, you run the risk of going 6 or 7 rounds down. That fact in between the rounds was very telling for how good Gambit are in their rifles, by the way. Only 1 out of 8 pistols won in the duration of the tournament, and yet they're still in the semi-finals. They're still taking heads. Yakinda, though, at least comes back with one of his own to Nafani. That'll keep them honest, and he drops to 3 HP. This is one of the best chances they've had, Potter, and maybe they can make this one finally stick.
Yakindar's paid a heavy price for it, though, and only with the one flashbang, Inter's taking this lull in the round to re-aggress, but he thinks twice of it. Exchanging some weapons, Bogdan Law, of course. And it seems like this will end up at Inner again. There will be some Ivy distractions. So depending on timing here, this is going to be everything. Because Hobbit has been such an anchor. He's been a huge problem whenever VP try to go Inner. Oh, what a shot coming out from Yakindar. I don't think he spotted James. This round is everywhere.
Oh no, but James not really capitalized, and his teammates have died on B, which means the bomb is down, and with 13 seconds, his options are save or potentially die after time. Neither of them ideal situations, considering he's looking at a 5-0 deficit, but it will be the save. And the fact of the matter is, he's got 14 ADR to his name, 0 kills, 0 assists, and although a bit of damage was inflicted, it's only 2 kills again. We just have 5 kills as we move through into the 7th round of the match. And although Yakinda got both of them, and they're both really solid headshots, it's just been an absolute bloodbath here, Potter. Correction, it's the 6th round, not the 7th. It's still dire straits, though.
Yeah, real slow start here coming out from VP. You even saw James there. He was about to peek that Ivy, and he looked at Yakindar and said, nope, you go first. And Yakindar was good for it, but James just not able to react in the appropriate amount of time. So once again, VP kind of get choked out into that round. And it's a slow start. Looks like just a simple default here, but VP have no map control. They don't have the Pop Dog. They don't have T-Con. They will have to fight for one or the other. Maybe some success towards this Ivy. 3 VP members all congregated together.
Could become one-dimensional, though, Potter, if main gets shut down, with a player up close in the form of Axile, already drilling into the head of Yakindar. That could be the case. At least Kicker comes out swinging, but the Ivy contingent has met a sticky end. As Hobbit puts the final nail in the coffin, they now know where Kicker is, needs to traipse over to the other side of outside to try and pick up the bomb, but he actually fakes that transitional play, hoping to catch one of Gambit off guard as they try and make a move.
Definitely heard that reload.
No, he's down anyway. Nafani just goes for the wide swing. Great play from Gambit. Potter, I've been so impressed.
Yeah, just the crossfires. Every player just holding the line. Very confident in each other as well. Axel goes down, but man, Shiro is just right there to trade. He does get taken out in the end there, though, but they know each other have their backs at all times. Nafani rather was in that Pop Dog area. So strong stuff coming out from Gambit, and VP have not found an answer. Tech 9s are out on the board, a lot of utility, and once again, they're going to go test their luck with Hobbit, but he has not died yet, Vince.
Well, he's put down onto the ramp. That keeps VP away from the action momentarily. Tons of grenade damage now tossed in as well. Now they start to push in. They've already lost 1 and make that 2. Hobbit at the backside of the site, playing a different angle. Nafani reading the situation, trying to rummage around the back, but he gets sandwiched between James and Yakindar. So that's at least 1 rifle that now trades hands, but that information pretty valuable. And now Gambit take over 2 of those players and put them back on the A side of the map.
Kindar's got the bomb. He's lurking around this T-Con area. All 3 members of VP very spread apart. This is all going to come down to these duels. James is not looking the right way, and he does go down. Yakindar's also going to follow suit, and this just leaves Kicker. This goes back to the round before, Vince, when VP were attempting an Ivy and Inner hit. It just seems like something is off right now because Kicker was the one lurking, but he didn't have anything, while the Bomb and Jame were Ivy and T-Con while they went first. The order seems a bit off to me, but maybe VP had different ideas. It just didn't connect at the end, but either way, they get another strong buy coming into this one. Another AWP on James' back. And VP like to give him enough time, slow things down, find those picks.
We have from the hero of Hobbit, who is 12-0, to the agent of Sanji, who's 007. 172 ADR for Hobbit. He has been perfect over on the B side of the map. Correct me if I'm wrong here as well, Potter, but I believe this was Gambit's choice of map. So VP elected to go T side, and right now they are being absolutely obliterated. I mean, this is going to play hell with their confidence.
Jame does spot a member, though. He doesn't have any teammates near him to boost. Yakindar was that teammate, but he went down early. And once again, every single VP member is very spread apart. Sanji finally finds some success. This should start applying the pressure, but that re-aggression from Inters, he absolutely gets punished for it. And now VP have the advantages for the first time in this first half. Again, no flashbangs. Hobbit, perfect line of sight down lower, gets to pick off. That equalizes things, and Sanji also falls.
Oh, Shiro has such a good position as well. He can at least shut down. No, he misses the shot. That is a gimme shot as well, and it's going to punish them. Nafani may just have to save. That's a round that honestly should have been Gambit's, and it's VP that get a bit fortunate, but it'll be their first round finally.
Oof, uncharacteristic miss coming out from Shiro at a crucial time as well, but you definitely can't always expect your sniper to be 100% accurate, but man, that is really unfortunate. VP finding some room to breathe though. Finally getting a round on the board, Sanji finds his not only first kill, but a second one to follow as well. And some slip-ups coming out from Gambit, but VP absolutely capitalized.
Rock solid entries. Can't argue with that. That was the moment though. Shiro, a player of his caliber, he will be very disappointed he missed out on that chance. But VP are still backs against the wall. They have to be flawless pretty much from here on out if they're going to muster up a solid half of Counter-Strike. Does give them at least a way forward as Gambit look to lock it down again out here on E-Box. Two players pushing towards Ivy. Jane, one of them with the AWP, joined alongside Sanji, and this is the area of the map. He got those two entries in the previous round. Smoke has been put into position, allowing Inters to just lock it down for the time being, but VP really slowing it down significantly. They're not looking for any aggressive plays at all.
It does look like VP are regrouping with each other back towards that inner once again. And yeah, what a strange round. VP originally were congregated towards that Ivy, but they just decided, nope, don't want anything to do with that. And once again, they tried their hand with this inner execute. Two defenders here for Gambit. Shiro definitely wants the chance again. Oh, good flashes this time coming in from VP. Hobbit is so blind, but he's in a really sneaky spot.
Typically, angles that you flash over or get mollies onto, so he was just afforded the luxury of sitting there and waiting. 18 seconds, they need entries, they need them right now. And although Shiro has gone down, he's wasted a lot of time. They have to take one of these two players over to pick up the bomb and potentially go for the plant. But Sanji is shut down in the back. That's the bomb that goes with him. And Buster is not long after. 8-1, and VP already crunched back down to size. Two of them can buy, but the other three in an awkward position.
Wow, Hobbit survived for so long on top of that pop train. Even finds 2 kills after he gets unblind, and even though it came down to this 2v2, I don't think VP ever had a chance of even planting the bomb there. Oh, fast stuff. Out T-Con already. Defenders are blind. That's a good pickup coming out from Kicker. He's good for 2. Actually, it's Buster that's going to pick it up. And this is fast-paced. VP already taking out the outside yard.
Precisely the kind of plays that we need to see them throw in. Just get Gambit out of their comfort zone. Force them to play a bit more aggressive in return. But after initial success, it's all going pear-shaped again. Inters does get winged down to 5 HP. Jame unfortunate not to get the outright frag. But he alongside Sanji now find themselves a player behind. They do have control over the bomb in Pop Dog with Sanji and a Mac-10. But the Mac-10 far from ideal in this kind of a position. He's waiting for Jame to help him out. Will allow him safe passage back up Pop Dog should they so choose. But Hobbit in an off angle. These are the kind of angles that you may not check with the AWP. But in comes Sanji with the Mac-10. He's putting them down outside. And with the bomb, we'll be getting the full plant. Neither of the two CTs in a position to fend him off. With Inters being low, even at this range, the Mac-10 could finalize onto him. But Inters will not miss his chance. 9-1, Potter. I thought this game would be incredibly close. It's the most one-sided match of the entire tournament.
Wow, just such a solid defense coming out from Gambit. Even I thought that it was surely the round where VP, that flashbang catching Shiro so late, I thought that was it. But either way, Gambit, they've got that second and third layer just ready and ready. Axile saving this outside yard and Hobbit just re-aggressing towards this inner to find Yakinder on the lurk and Jame as well. This is dominant stuff coming out from Gambit here. Another strong buy for VP though. Money hasn't been the biggest issue for VP in this match. They just can't convert the rounds.
Yeah, they've had that max round loss bonus for so long that consistent buys and having a decent control of the economy is one thing, but as you say, converting has been an entirely different matter. Their execution has not been on point. Hobbit finding a real purple patch. 17 kills, 2 assists, and only 2 deaths, and we're moving into round 11. So impressive. Shiro's there to lend him a helping hand. Should he need it? The VP are at least posturing for a 2-hit over out towards the Ivy side. They're smoking their way in a bit closer. This will draw away Inters for a few more moments. What is the plan, though, over on the box halls? Because right now, they're still keeping 3 players over there. The flashbang comes down. It's a good frag from Sanji. And now he can try and wrap all the way around the back of Gambit, but he gets taken down in transition from Shiro. Now it comes down to Hobbit again. The spray's not quite on point. Finally gets it on the second time of asking, but it's actually Shiro that now comes back in on Connector. Hobbit just needs to stay alive. He does have an incendiary, which he could maybe toss towards the back of the site and draw away one of these players. This tries to wide peek instead. The utility's now coming down. Yakinder gets sprayed down from Hobbit, and it all comes down to Jane. He has no molly and no life remaining. Gambit with another successful retake.
Dude, Hobbit is an animal. I love the way he's approaching this inner right now. Just the quick movements, the quick decisive angles. He knows and has full trust in Shiro to have his back at all times, even if he whiffs on that upper player, that initial contact, he's okay with it. Quickly readjusts, repositions to summit area, doesn't panic. The cavalry arrives, the backup arrives, and Hobbit just looks like a strong player, understands those rotations to the T right now. Gambit's train is looking dominant, and Yakindar has been getting bullied in this T-Con area. Maui spoke about it. Yakindar's got a lot of responsibility on his shoulders as far as drawing that contact. And man, he's doing the work, but he's getting owned right now. Kicker does respond though. 4 versus 4, and Buster just lurking in this T-Con still.
Important kill. Does give them the player advantage. But it does feel like each of Gambit's members has been worth 3 of VPs throughout the duration of this map. But this time, Sanji, with the lightning fast entry, is much more like it. Inters may repel him, may not anticipate a second player in here. Flashbang comes out. Inters stands his ground, does damage, and actually frags Jane. That's got to go the way of VP.
James is gonna want to replay that one in his head. At least Kicker does find Hobbit, and they know exactly where Inters is, and James knows he messed them up. That communication should have come through. Inters picking up that AWP, but the sound cue, Buster was ready for it. Whew, these rounds are coming down to the wire. They are close. But finally, VP are able to put another one on the board. They had to work hard for that one, though.
Yeah, and this was the moment where you feel like Inters gets the kill on Sanji. That should be it. It should be a one and done. He then takes down James. And I thought that was the moment where things just slipped away from VP again.
I can't believe James lost that duel.
Same. I'm sure he couldn't either. Ikinda's gonna burn alive. It's a HE through the smoke. You could see that he was resigned to his fate. Looking away from the camera, he knew exactly what was happening.
Yekindar really trying to force the issue, give VP some sort of advantages, but Gambit are just outplaying him right now. Under a lot of pressure, VP once again find themselves a man down, trying to draw out some sort of contact, and they do just that. The flashbang is beautiful. James is so blind, and Gambit in full control once again.
Gambit are making VP look like a very ordinary team. You would never have thought that they are just hot off the back of a massive victory at a tournament. They are being completely and utterly outplayed at every single turn. Sanji about to get peak long range with a Galil. Stands his ground for the frag, but let's be honest, it's a drop in the bucket. He doesn't have the bomb. He only has 25 HP left, and more importantly than those two, Gambit are eyeing up an 11-2 lead. Again, VP had the choice of which side they started. They picked T side. I think it's safe to say that may have been a little bit of a blunder in hindsight.
VP do have a very solid CT side train. I'm sure that was their game plan originally, but definitely at this point, potentially going to be shaking in their boots. But man, just look at these angles at every point. Gambit, the buddy system. These guys are always peeking together. It's very polished. Hardly any labored duels coming out from the Gambit side. Everything is just crisp right now. This is going to be a juicy grenade. Oh.
Also, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just rambling, Vince. Take it away.
No, not at all. I was just going to say that I've been debated. I'm making a correction. This is actually VP's choice of map. So please scrap what I said. That's why they're starting on the T side.
Oh, really? Okay, so HLTV had it backwards. I'm on your side, Vince, because I checked as well, and it said Gambit picked train. But it has been swapped. It's not our fault, Vince.
I was thinking, like, really? You've picked T-side start and you're getting this obliterated? I guess that makes a bit more sense. But I mean, with it being a choice, you at least think they'd have a solid T-half, right? Like, potentially 2 or 3 rounds is just not good enough at all. It's a map where the T's can get a lot of success, honestly. 30 seconds left, though. We'll see if they can add to the 2 rounds. Maybe they can end with 4. That would give them a bit of a glimmer of hope, but Inters playing intelligently, doesn't want to overextend, knows that time is working against VP, knows they have to pressure out, they have to get these entries, and it's all Exile. 4 kills to him, 12 rounds to Gambit.
He started off that round throwing Jame a little jiggle. Threw Jame a jiggle, wide swung him, one-tapped Jame with the AWP and just a 4K. Wow. Brilliant stuff coming out from Exile. And again, just not even labored. It looks like just another Monday, another Tuesday for these Gambit guys. It doesn't look like they're in the semifinal playing for a spot in the grand final. This is a strong-looking Gambit right now. VP aren't able to get anything done.
Yeah, that's a pretty grim stat, isn't it? Let me just add this. They got 26 kills in total. We're moving through to round 15. Oh dear. It's put that in perspective, Axel 19, Hobbit 18 has been every bit as one-sided as the 12-2 scoreline would suggest. And even in this round, going through to the last round of the half, they have 2 Galils, 3 smokes, 1 molly, and 3 flashes. Even in terms of this, Potter, they are in dire need of some success. They need entries, and will they find any? They're being obliterated by Axile again, who moves on to 21 frags with well over 110 ADR. But at least Buster is going to keep them honest with his Galil headshot.
It has come down to a 3 versus 3. And BP actually are in position to win this round. And 13-2 versus 12-3, that one round, Vince, is a huge difference going into the second half. So for VP, they need to make sure they secure this. Shiro will make his way towards this B bomb site, and just in the nick of time as well. You see Sanji lurking around towards this upper. Now, the last time VP were in this position, the order in which they got contact was a little bit off. So I am curious to see how they approach this one. Again, split up, Sanji on the lurk. And Sanji does make his way down Pop. Oh, he spotted him.
Negligible damage. I honestly thought Buster was about to lose his head. Tagged down to 79, but information, and when you have Buster outside like this, you know it's going to be an A hit. Nice counteractive kill from Jame. 20 seconds. Inter's on the approach, getting one. That could be it. Jame, very little opportunity to play any mind games. He has to stick the side. He has to just hope for the best. Gets the full plant off, and they do peek him one by one. But Shiro too fast with the 5-7, and Gambit just way too good. 13-2 off the back of the first half, and honestly, VP is struggling in their choice of map. See if they can bring it back, but first we're heading to a break.
Last looked out on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even. Bright shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel, when a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel. Wine, bring me fine rice hither, see him die when we bear them.
A game that we thought would be an absolute banger, a barn burner, a really close affair has been anything but, and VP on their choice now are eyeing up a vast deficit. Potter, we know that they're a good enough team to claw their way out, but the fact that they got absolutely obliterated in the sense that they did, I don't know if I believe.
Oh, well, hold your breath, Vince. It starts with this pistol. Out of everything, Yukindar. Sanji's there with 3 kills at least. That's the start VP absolutely needed. Right now, Buster is under some pressure towards the sandwich player. Nafani has made his way out, but he's going to back up a little bit.
Oof, that could have been the chance. Snatched at it somewhat with the Glock, misses out, but he does have a teammate still in Ivy, which is Hobbit, and he's looking to try and flash Hobbit out. Flashbang has connected. Hobbit now making moves, just over a minute left. And they have control over the bomb, but Hobbit's teammate's gone down, and Kickert goes in for seconds. There was a stat that came up earlier that said that Gambit have been pretty woeful in their pistols, and that statistic will reign true again.
Strong stuff, Sanji coming through. Such solid headshot precision with those pistols is Sanji. And the hero in this pistol round, exactly what VP needed. Kindar's okay. This is a confident play. USP, armor. Yukindar is the sandwich player, always very aggressive. Usually has some good thoughtfulness behind it. Oh man, Kickert, this Nova play, he wants to farm. I say go for it, man. After you just get beat up in the first half a little bit, you want to loosen up your shoulders, get yourself invested into this game. Kicker's having himself a feel-good round. He's even going to get inters. Go get him. Oh, his teammates are all hiding to give him the monies. Come on, man. Yukindar had to take him down at the end there, though. But okay, so VP, you know, they are down by quite a lot here, Vince, but they're having fun still. I like it. I like the fact that they're communicating with each other. They wanted to give Kicker that last kill even. It's still looking hopeless, I'm not gonna lie, but this is a long series. We gotta consider stamina, we gotta consider map 2, map 3, and round by round, if VP stay within this game, even just this map, I'm not sure if it'll be enough to win train, but it should tee them up as far as their morale goes for map 2 and 3.
They've been in situations that have looked pretty bleak and pretty grim a number of times, and they still came back. Never quite out of the situation. They can pick up this round, does afford them to really significantly close the gap. There's a long way between then and now. 1 minute and 10, which will feel like so much longer with every second that passes. Gambit closing the gap that little bit more. Box Halls now falls under control of the T's. Exile, who was perched up on Ivy, now looking to try and join the rest of the troops, and the bomb is transitioning across, also to Box Halls, so it seems like B will be the final destination. And Jane was thinking of rotating, which would have been pretty brutal for Kickert, who's stuck with a Molotov out in his hands. We'll be tossing that towards the ramp as soon as the call comes through. First pick is good. Now Kickert can throw down the Molotov. He goes in for the spray. It's good for 1. And Shiro has been battered by the Molotov. He's down to 28 HP. Exile is nowhere to be seen either. He's miles away from the rest of his squad. And he's walking into the arms of Yukindar, who puts him down with the AUG. It may be a post-plant. Shiro should be able to survive. At least that will keep their economy going forward, but the chances of clutching are so low. And VP will be successful with the defuse.
Strong stuff, Yukindar. Game sense. Good rotations. Keeping track of all the T's and knew that there would be a late lurker coming through, so strong stuff. Oof. Hot stepper indeed. Yekindar should have a better look here. He's got a good amount of finesse to him. And the way he approaches the sandwich area, it requires him to keep facing. So he does have to be good for his shot. But otherwise, as far as his movement and decision-making goes, it's generally pretty well thought out. That's a good amount of damage onto Axel. And a kill, in fact. But Sanji just gets double peak Goomba stomped. Those Tech 9s coming out.
Yeah, with the kill, and Org does trade hands. So even without some of the luxuries that they currently possess, Nafani has Kevlar behind that Org. Aim punch won't be an issue any longer. There are a couple of pieces that are now falling into place that could get Gambit to upset in this very round. Jane going aggressive with the AWP, peeking the long way straight down to T-spawn. Timing is slightly off, though.
He's going to see the trajectory of this smoke. If James stays just for a little bit, oh, I don't think he caught it. That would have made things really interesting. Yakindar's got a good line of sight here, tapping away. He does find the one, finds the two, but he gets scouted out. Oh, Hobbit is out Ivy now. Going towards Ivy, rather, with this bomb.
This is already a really successful round for Gambit. Minimal investment, 2v2. James missed his shot, he could get punished. Goes back in with the P250. And Hobbit, taking a different angles, put him down. This could be such an important moment in the map. With Gambit potentially taking a 14-5 lead. Buster with the AK. Such a good player, especially under pressure, under duress. He has a kit and he has utility, but he has no idea where the two of Gambit are currently sitting. The bomb planted out in the open, there are so many angles that he has to cover off. Peeking into main, checking, making sure that Ivy has no one present. He's found out nothing so far, and now he's been tagged on the approach and finished off by Hobbit. I can't believe that Gambit have won that round, and VP have just shot themselves in the foot.
You hate to see it, Vince. You hate to see it. As soon as VP look like they're starting to put up a defense of some kind, they get ecoed, just the pistols. And the VP members were good for it. Most of the VP players did their job respectively in their areas, but Gambit just did enough. And once the kid, Yakindar, gets picked off, nice flash work. Axel just utilizing his spawn, and man, once again, Gambit are in full advantage.
Gambit turned a lot of heads when they went to the grand finals of DreamHack Open November and absolutely dismantled Spirit 3-1. They could be about to be one giant step closer to the grand finals again. And let's be honest, I don't want to take anything away or disrespect Saw. They played some really good Counter-Strike, but Gambit would be the favorites if they reached that point. Buster, though, is keeping VP just about alive here on Train as he equalizes the odds with a quick-fire shot down Ivy. They still have to deal, though, with 4 strong Gambit players.
Double up into this T-Con area. Jame and Buster's got to be real careful here. They don't have a rifler to help them. They got to make these shots count. Buster's got a good vision here, and Jame is just popping off in the back lines. He does get taken out by Inters, but now it's a 2 versus 1 scenario. Inter's so low. Oh, Buster. Oh, he had the read. I thought he was going to hit that shot. That would have been so sick. The communication coming through. Buster knows he's low. Wants to pistol out and finish out Inters. There it is. So round secured once again. We're starting to see that back and forth affair that we are very used to by this point that happens early on in the first half and early on in the second half. But man, Buster, Jame, those AWPs doing work this round.
Yeah, we have reached the back and forth sort of doldrum, but the issue is in this pinball matchup, it heavily favors Gambit. Like, not only in terms of the fact they're on the T side, but the fact they're in a 14-6 advantage. They can afford to just trade back the next few rounds because that just puts them in the lead. That puts them in the 1-0 map victory. Kicker's been flashed. Still holds his nerve for one, but then traded out. Jane, big impact with the AWP. We're finally starting to see some of those power plays come into effect, but then he gets countered by Hobbit. Long range with the AK. Post plant could be coming up. M4 is good enough to suppress Hobbit on his endeavors. Back out again, maybe getting a little bit too confident, getting a bit too antsy. But Axile chipping away the head of Buster. Inter's waiting patiently for the connector push and just turns around to see Axile have his back covered. Yakinda's MP9 is all that stands between Gambit and the 15th round. And although he's healthy, so are Gambit. He has no kits. He's trying to bypass this first player. May have the jump on him, but Axile again bodyguarding. And that will be 9 map points on VP's choice of train.
Man, the way that Axile is just holding some of these angles, we saw what a beast he was on the CT side, but he just at every point had his teammates back here. And Gambit bought some extra powered flashbangs here because Kicker was blind for a long, long time. Down on that lower ramp, he just gets annihilated. Hobbit has made his way out onto Olaf here. And just lurking around, biding his time.
Weaponry severely in favor of Gambit. Just the one SMG, the rest pistols with Kevlar. Flashbang up and over. Affords Buster the chance and the success with the Deagle. So he'll be able to trade up to an AK. So exactly the perfect start that they were hoping for. They have a couple of building blocks, but can they put anything on top of that foundation? They look to try and rip out of there. Jame taking the initiative, changing up his angles, knowing that Hobbit was last seen just outside of main, and now the smoke will be clearing. But with that cleared smoke, Jame is found and he is put out of his misery.
Buster gets a second kill into this round. That's a good dink coming out from Kicker. They will be funneling down this low ramp. Buster lining him up, almost as good for the two, but Sanji, he is on the flank and he gets taken out as well. That's gonna be it. Gambit secure the deal on the train, and man, it was just dominant from start to finish here, Vince. Gambit never let go.
Never let go, were always in the lead, never looked like they'd let it slip. A very dominant performance, and one that I really didn't expect to see, Potter, but we're going to find out what the desk has to say about that train performance. I'm somewhat speechless. I know you are. We'll get there after the break.
While it seems like Gambit were not messing about as they came into this one, an absolutely phenomenal performance. Axile and Hobbit, incredible. And I want to ask you, Maui, I've got a stat for you this time. I went through scrolling. I was like, this seems like a pretty damn bad map for Yakinda. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure Elliot can correct me, this was his lowest kill tally this year.
Yeah, Yakinda not having a great time here. You can say that. He's always in the fray, and it feels like Gambit knew exactly how to counter him. You could see a couple of the players, Axile for one, just running through the sandwich smoke, predicting that Yakinda would be there in that position, and he was right. So I think Gambit really had VP's number at this point. There is a lot of data on VP, given that they just played so many BO3s at Flashpoint. So if Gambit did their prep, and it looks like they did, then they should be able to anti-strat. And I think that's what we were seeing a little bit. But that being said, I can't take credit away from any of the players on Gambit, because Axile and Hobbit were both just putting on crazy good performances. Hobbit towards that B site, just completely locking it down. And you could see, when you look at the stats here, that he just dominated the server. 122 ADR. Hobbit is back, guys.
Whew. No, that was an unbelievable performance, and especially as someone who is playing a B anchor role, it's definitely not an easy task to try and commit to. And I know, Blair, that you were very much impressed with their performance within this match, and actually have a sort of round to break down for us.
I have two things. Firstly, I have done a representation of what I feel Gambit was in the server. An absolute massive Chad, and they were just phenomenal. That aside, deleting it, that was a beautiful piece of work, by the way. Anyway, coming up next, round number 6, right? So we are just starting things off. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit, jump up a bit. Axel, Shiro enters. We have Hobbit towards inner. They have full faith in Hobbit just shutting down or holding down that inner bomb side. And you can see what VP are up to. 3 players coming up from Ivy. You have Kicker and Yakinder looking to pop out, but Axel's pushed in deep. I want to take a look at the trades here, right? You have Inters looking to help out Axel, Shiro looking towards Ivy. Inters is kind of like the pivot guy, right? He's going to be helping out trading towards Ivy or towards mains. And Axel's going to get the first kill. Shiro finds the second. Quick trades taking place. And then you can look at Hobbit in the meantime, immediately leaving the B bomb side and taking on James, who was trying to flank in from back Ivy. And now it's a 1v3. Kicker finds one. Take a look at what Hobbit does, right? He could have come out from over here towards old 1.6 bomb tree. No, he heads all the way towards Pop Dog, where even if Nefani gets taken down, he's there to go for the immediate trade. Or even if he doesn't get the trade, Kicker would not be expecting Hobbit to be coming up from where Nefani is. And he doesn't even need Hobbit. Nefani gets the kill. As you do take a look at some of the frags from the side of Gambit. It's just the simple crossfires, the decisions being made by them, and just how quick the trade game was. They were just fantastic. And I agree with Maui. Maybe there were some elements of some anti-stratting coming in, but even without any anti-stratting, that was a masterclass CD side coming in from the side of Gambit. The VP, they were not expecting this. This was just a brutal beatdown.
Well, yeah, and I think the scary thing as well is what's coming up next is actually going to be the Vertigo pick of Gambit, a map that Maui has previously mentioned has been one that it seemed like Virtus.pro were just testing out. So we don't really have time to talk about it, but the fact is this could be a 2-0 in Gambit's favor. We will be coming back again with Vincent Potter after the break, and, well, let's see if Gambit blow our socks off once again.